Welcome to the Richness of Life podcast with your host, Janet Anderson. Join us as we walk on the path of self-discovery, remembering the richness of life. Together, we will explore the depths of the human experience, hear expert insights, have conversations, experience transformative stories, and learn everyday wisdom. Discover the richness that awaits you in each moment. You have been so wonderful to me. I love the feedback that I'm getting from episodes 1 and 2, and it helps my heart so much to know that it is positively impacting your life in some way. In this episode, we are going to talk about the psychology term, the ego, which I refer to as the loyal soldier. I want to start with a small writing that I have in my book called Rise. Sparkle. I see a beam of light shining through the living room window, casting an image on the floor. It is bright and beckons for me to jump inside. My 7-year-old brain is curious. What is this light? Where did it come from? How does it exist? I can no longer resist its pull on my heart to experience its radiance. At first, my toe crosses the line from darkness to light and wiggles as it plays on either side of the line. This leads my fingers to erupt with curiosity as I thrust each arm into the light. I experience instant illumination and see the delicate hairs on my arm. Before I know it, my brain deems the light safe, and my whole body crosses the threshold between darkness and light. I am warmed in the light's radiance as it shines upon my being. From inside the light, I look up to see its source, my eyes naturally closing, leaving me to trust in what I feel, not what I see. I am alone in the darkness of my childhood living room, playing in the light. That is a vivid memory I have from my childhood, playing in the light in my living room. I think it's such a great reminder of our healing journey. I love the concept that when a whole room is dark, it only takes a little light and the shadow fades. The darkness cannot hold. When I walk through the shadows with people in their life, in my counseling practice, in my personal life, or even with those I coach through my Team Lighthouse community, there is this reality that the shadow is only the shadow. It has no truth. It has no hold. I feel like God has gifted me with this ability to bring light into that shadow and to help remind that person of the light that they hold within them. And then together we use that light to guide our way out of that shadow. When bad things happen to us, it creates these unconscious whisperings of blocks, thoughts, pain. There's lots of different psychology terms for this. We have something in our psychology called the ego. That's a very big psychology term. I refer to the ego as your loyal soldier. It is there to protect you, and it does serve a developmental task when you are in the ages between 6, when it first appears, because that's typically when we have those first initial core wounds, until we decide to let it go. If we can have our ego be released sooner, then life's probably going to be a lot easier. But for most of us, it's not until we hit this facing the mirror moment where life is falling apart. And then we decide to do our work. The ego, the loyal soldier, it's meant to protect us. But here's the problem. When those bad things happen, it's like it got the wrong memo. Then it runs thinking that that's the truth. For example, let's say that you had an incident when you were younger that made you feel broken, that made you feel unloved, that made you feel not worthy, not smart enough, not wise enough. And It's like it sent a little letter to your loyal soldier, and the loyal soldier opened it up and was like, oh no, she's unlovable. She's not worthy. She's not significant. I hope my job is that she never finds this out. Because the ego is very simple. It just reads the memo, says she's unlovable because of this, and then it runs on this concept that you're unlovable. And then it tries to prevent you from ever feeling that way. But it is not very wise. The ego is the opposite of wise. So it ends up recreating this pattern that unconsciously reinforces the wound. This happens universally for everybody. There's this phase in our life where we have to release the ego. You could fire the ego. You could be like, stupid ego, that's it, you're out of here. I choose to have more of a compassionate approach because the loyal soldier was trying to protect you, was trying to do its best job that it could do. And it just got the wrong memo. So oftentimes I'm like, hey, ego, thank you so much for protecting me. But here's the thing. You got the wrong information, but I know the truth now and I fully release you. And when you do that, you go from a stage of your life where anger, frustration, stress, all of those really low vibrational, tense emotions reign. Then you walk through the shadow, you release the ego, you bring light there. On the other side of that, higher vibrational emotions will come in: joy, peace, love, creativity, wisdom, discernment, focus, discipline, abundance, significance, humbleness, all of those beautiful emotions that ultimately we all long to have. When you decide to do your emotional work, this is the journey. I have a colleague and he said, Janet, there's only so many ways that we break. There's only so many ways we heal. This is the track of healing for everyone. Pain is universal. Everyone has their wounds and everyone has an opportunity to heal them. And there's so many modalities out there that can help you do this in a fast and effective way. And I encourage you to do that because when you do that, man, your life is going to light up and you're going to get connected to a part of yourself. You're going to get connected to the light, just like my story of being a little girl. You're going from the shadow into the light, and our body longs to be in that light. It longs to be close to God. The other day I was thinking about the heartbeat of Jesus Christ, the heartbeat of God. And as humans, we're pack animals, so we're supposed to be a part of a pack so we can co-regulate together. This idea of co-regulating with the heartbeat of Jesus. But if we all could just co-regulate with Jesus, that is getting connected to love. That is stepping into a power that's sovereignly ours. That is stepping into the richness of life. Rise, Embracing Resilience in the Face of Adversity, written by Janet Anderson, LICSW. Chapter 3, Thoughts of the Light-Hearted. I stand in a line at the airport, waiting and watching. Once through security, I stroll through the crowded hallways toward my assigned gate. My senses flood with the commotion inside the airport terminal. On my left, I hear the rolling hum of wheels from a flight attendant's carry-on luggage. In the distance, a little boy pleads for his mother to carry him because his legs don't work no more. A monotone voice booms over the airport's intercom. It's hard to decipher, but I know it's not calling my name. I see an endless display of blinking lights and the zigzag carpeting. I pass a restaurant and smell the fresh aromas of hamburgers and french fries. I feel the pressure of my cowboy boots bouncing off the moving sidewalk. My nervous system absorbs these external stimuli, and my thoughts draw me inward. As I observe strangers moving toward their destinations, I can't help but view this as some sort of mass migration. I reach the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, security checkpoint. I hear a clean-cut businessman snap, "I know," to the TSA worker, who reminds him that his laptop needs to be placed on the conveyor belt in the plastic bins, separate from his coat. I see a restlessness and unease permeate from a young man waiting in line as he sighs, rolls his eyes, and shuffles his feet. I hear an exasperated middle-aged woman justify why she has more than 3 ounces of liquid in her carry-on bag. I smell the stagnant air permeating the space, despite the constant migration of people crossing over this threshold. A TSA worker's loud voice bursts forth as he commands a man to push his bin through the security X-ray machine. I stand in a TSA security line waiting. I look at people's faces, waiting for someone to exchange glances with me, to make eye contact. The first is from a pair of hazel eyes of the TSA worker who reminded the businessman about his laptop and his coat. I offer her a smile and indicate it's okay and I'm safe. My eyes try to communicate to her that I honor her space and her humanness. I opt out of the security X-ray body scan and wait for my female assistant to walk me through security for my pat-down. I continue to scan the crowd for anyone who has an awareness outside their current state of being. A young man makes eye contact and smiles at me. I imagine he is wondering what I'm doing out of line. I smile back, indicating that I'm okay. I hope I am able to convey my understanding that we are all where we're supposed to be. He seems satisfied as he quickly shuffles forward, continuing his own journey. My female assistant arrives. I point to the bins that hold my personal belongings, and she walks me to the security station. She starts at the top of my head and sweeps the back of her hands down to my toes. This human-to-human interaction draws people out of their self-absorption. I stand assertively in my own being and continue to make eye contact with anyone willing to engage in my experience. I prefer human connection, and I treasure moments where I can see past the ego's defensiveness and offer a lightening of the unconscious. It is at this moment I realize what I am witnessing. There are, in fact, 2 migrations happening with everyone in this airport. Physically, we are all moving from one city to another. We are all unconsciously evolving and emotionally developing through the varying stages of our lives. This is something that we all have in common. This emotional migration is what bonds us all together and makes us human. From the day we are born to the day we die, we are all developing emotionally, migrating from one place and time to another. We are constantly crossing the thresholds between what is comfortable to what is uncomfortable. At times we yearn for change, but find it hard to make this leap of faith, ultimately not migrating until we are forced to do so. These thoughts spin and evolve as I reach my gate, check my flight status, and make my way to an empty seat. My thoughts settle on an enlightened awareness for the preciousness of time and the universal truth that no matter how hard we try, no one stands still. Time will always move us forward. As I grow older, I don't think of time as linear, but rather a layer upon layer of intermingling experiences and perceptions. My clinical work as a mental health professional gives evidence that time is emotionally multidimensional, and that our past and future are all within the present moment. I find this reflected in my own experiences. It is springtime. I'm 6 years old. The days grow longer, the nights shorter, and the sun thaws the earth. I'm surrounded with spring's new beginnings, green shoots of daffodils, purple hues on crocuses, apple blossoms, and the soft, fluffy down of my baby duck, which follows my flower-printed muddy boots through fresh green grass, up and down bumps on our dirt driveway, and through reservoirs of melted snow. My brothers and my sister stand by as I gently hold my duckling in my small hands. As I bend down to nuzzle him with my nose, my fingers fumble, and he falls. He lies on the earth without movement or breath. He is lifeless. In an instant, what I innocently loved without restraint is gone, and my 6-year-old heart stings deeply with grief, guilt, and shame. It is not until 30 years later, and my second son is 6 years old, that I forgive myself for the death of my duckling. My husband and I stand in the kitchen, processing the day's events and reflecting on our 3 boys. Our conversation meanders over various topics when suddenly my nervous system triggers the memory of my duckling. Today, it's real and raw. The full emotions of guilt and shame and grief spill out of my eyes. I look down at my hands. Imagine my duckling. Janet, it's not your fault. I agree. Yeah, I know, he repeats. Janet, it's not your fault. Again, I protest. I know. After a third time, a wave of 6-year-old memory surfaces, and in my head, I hear my little voice quiver. Yes, it is. I feel the cocoon of my husband's arms as he embraces and reassures me it is time to release and forgive. As I visualize my 6-year-old self, my mind gives way to my multi-dimensional perception of time. My brain applies wisdom that I have gained from nurturing my own sons and counseling children. I know of their innocence. I know of their emotional hearts. Children's minds have the capacity for magical thinking that brings life to superheroes and princesses. I am a mother who kisses away hurts from my boy's tender skin. I run my fingers through my son's soft curls. I see my children's eyes widen as they absorb the world around them. I'm constantly reminding of how their limited vocabulary keeps them from verbalizing the impact that comes from the highs and lows of life. I also know that during stressful situations, a child's brains default to self-blame, unless told otherwise. I experience a healing, cognitive shift during this moment of intermingled time and wisdom. I accept that I no longer need to experience pangs of guilt. It is not my fault. I understand that I was young. No one is to blame. No one is at fault. And no one is born broken. There is only grief. In the security of my husband's arms and within my own vulnerability, I release childhood guilt, shame, and grief. A flight attendant's on-air presentation. My brain grabs the phrase, "Secure your oxygen mask before assisting others." I often use the flight attendant's phrase during counseling sessions with clients. They must work on themselves before assisting others. It is vital that we commit to finding our joy. I conclude that we were all born into this world with an unconscious spring of joy. We all have the innate capacity to hold, experience, and radiate joy. Examples of joy are all around us. We see joy in the contagious belly laugh of a baby. It is evident on the playground in the grin of a boy zipping down a slide. Joy radiates from the face of a little girl swinging, her eyes closing as she imagines flying in a spaceship blasting her above the clouds, where the sun is always shining. Our spring of joy cannot be destroyed or removed. It's a permanent feature within our unconscious. Like time, joy is multidimensional. It can intermingle in our conscious and unconscious mind. It weaves in and out of our spiritual, emotional, and physical domains. Unfortunately, as time moves us forward, a heavy fog can descend upon our lives, making it difficult to locate and experience joy. Painful adverse events and heartaches, such as my childhood experience, contribute to the fog. Traumatic events can metaphorically create boulders, weeds, and sediment that clog and disrupt our spring of joy. Imagine the fog of life's adversity choking the spring and eventually blocking it from flowing. Over time, our ego develops, and the spring of joy is forgotten, abandoned for the security of the ego's defensiveness and self-preservation. I reflect back to studying neurology in college. I learned that 95% of the decisions we make come from our unconscious programming. For example, I may have an unconscious, irrational truth about the death of my duckling. Some of these irrational truths may include the following. You hurt loved ones. Be careful. You're going to screw up. Your love kills. Don't let loved ones close. What's wrong with you? You can't be trusted. You are unworthy. You don't deserve forgiveness. You are incapable. My ego justifies its mission to protect me with these irrational truths. Left unconscious with my ego's protection, these irrational truths will affect my self-esteem, relationships, life decisions, and ultimately, my ability to truly serve and love others. While the body innately wants to heal, the ego is afraid that the irrational is true. It creates a thick fog of defensiveness. For example, using my own childhood experience, my ego may protect me from irrational truths by deflecting any responsibility for my actions. You left the door open. It's not my fault, I was in a hurry. You made a traffic violation. It's not my fault, I was distracted by the radio. Your house is a mess. It's not my fault, I have too much on my plate. Your checking account is overdrawn. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I am hearing and saying the words that my unconscious brain yearns to be true. However, my conscious brain does not compute the convoluted dynamics of my ego. The longer the ego is in charge, the stronger and deeper these irrational truths become. As a result, the nervous system can create unconscious obstacles that inhibit the way we interpret our world. These obstacles are like metaphorical sediment, weeds, boulders, clogging our spring of joy. These obstacles may manifest themselves as behavioral patterns, like self-deprivation, or overextending oneself, which leads to feeling overwhelmed. These two patterns allow the ego to protect against perceived threats of vulnerability by proclaiming with conviction, "It's not my fault. I'm overwhelmed because of you." Ultimately, the ego thinks the irrational truths are real and protect your conscious mind from facing such truths. This holds true for underlying feelings of shame, fear, unworthiness, and inadequacy. Ultimately, the ego's protection will erode meaningful relationships, and that protection will gradually chisel away at the foundation of a person's ability to feel safe, secure, and capable. This phenomena can manifest itself in numerous ways and will very often include destructive actions such as criticism, absolute thinking, judgments, shaming, cognitive distortions, unconsciously reinforcing the irrational truths, self-sabotaging, emotional eating, love-hate relationship dynamics, unhealthy coping, avoidance behaviors, relationship conflicts. No one is immune to adverse events that create a disabling fog around their spring of joy. We each face our own emotional, multidimensional time in our present moment. To truly assist others, we must heal ourselves and wade through the trenches of our own unconscious and find our own spring of joy. While this process of healing may be scary, anxiety-ridden, and emotional, it is also transformational. It is a time to have courage. By truly taking care of ourselves, we also take care of others. The good news is that by doing the work, you can gain insight into your patterns. You will be able to cognitively shift your dynamics and change your life. It is not always easy, but it is possible. Start by choosing to be compassionate and vulnerable. Find grounding in knowing that you have a spring of joy within you. It is a permanent feature that cannot be destroyed. The quest that lies before you starts with having the faith that you will find a way through the fog. Believe that you will find strength to roll away the boulders that have impeded your path. Finally, be persistent. Get in the trenches of your own life. Find a community, a therapist, a family member, a podcast, or a friend who can walk beside you in your journey. Practice being held. Along the way, remember to keep your eyes open, especially at life's security checkpoints. There will be times when your defenses will be up, and it will seem as if everyone is out to get you. Let down your defenses. Have faith that you will find light in the darkness. Thank your ego for protecting you. Reassure it, as you would an innocent child, that your wiser self must lead the way, because where you are going, the ego will not understand. The flight crew is ready to depart. We are safely secured with our belts fastened, our tray tables locked, and our seats in their upright positions. Carry-on bags are stowed. I hear the roar of the engines, and I feel the plane roll forward as we taxi down the runway. We are cleared for takeoff. The plane gathers momentum. Together, we prepare to take a leap of faith. As we leave the ground, we experience that moment in time where we migrate across the threshold together. All located in our humanness, I close my eyes, knowing we will ascend to the place above the clouds where the sun is always shining. Where there is light, darkness cannot prevail. Where there is joy, the ego has no hold. Thank you so much for taking time out of your life and your busy schedule. And I hope that you were able to listen to this maybe as you were driving the car, waiting in car line to pick up your kids, or maybe even in the bathroom. Wherever you are, I wish you true blessings, healing, courage, love. I wish that the heartbeat of Jesus and God and love co-regulate with you. I wish you protection, safety, and security. I wish you the ability to release your ego, to fall into your vulnerability and humanness, and truly connect. Many blessings, and I will see you next time.